Hello, this is Ashley Campbell here, and I'm going to be talking about Jean Piaget. You might be asking yourself, who is Jean Piaget? Well, I'm about to tell you who or what I know about this brilliant man. So it started off when he was born on August 9th, 1896. He was a French man who grew up fascinated with mollusks and sparrows, and he actually wrote an article about an albino sparrow, and it was so good that people thought that an expert wrote it. And it blows my mind because a child that young, like you would think that they would be playing on the playground or playing with their friends, but he was studying and writing these articles about sparrows and mollusks, and it's just out of the ordinary for a child. So it just blows my mind, and you can tell by all his work really that he takes pride in what he does. I feel like he was very influenced by his father when it comes to education because his father was a professor for a medieval literature class, and I feel like his father may have modeled the type of man, educator, or someone who takes in all this, all the facts. I feel like he just wanted to excel in that, something that he wanted to do, and I think that's really cool because everyone has that something that they have passion for. They're very passionate about, and you can tell that he is because he put so much time and effort in his work. Um, he's very interested in psychology, and it led him to Theodore Simon. And with him, with the help of Simon, they both created an IQ test. And Simon's IQ test was, in Piaget's eyes, it was very flexible and it wasn't as accurate because although it was telling them the child's IQ, it wasn't really telling why they chose the answers they chose. So Piaget thought that he was going to create his own version where it would tell why, where the kids would tell why they chose what they chose. And with this test, he found out that children lack real world experiences. And this is where his theory comes along in the or around the 1920s, where Piaget's theory it consists of four stages of cognitive development, and they are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. And when I think of these, um, I really do feel like I went through all of these stages and went through different situations that involve all of these stages. So I feel like he was very spot on when he was studying children. So for a sensory motor stage, think of a 2-year old playing with blocks and they're building it up, and then they run out of blocks, so they knock it down. And when they knock it down, they become aware that their action has caused something to happen in the world that that's different than what it was just before, like seconds before. So the time it took for that child to knock down blocks, they were more aware of their actions and what caused or their effect of the cause that they just had. Um, when it comes to pre-operational stage, I think of a 5-year old looking at a three-dimensional star, and the 5-year old is only looking at the face of the star, and say an adult is looking at it from a different angle, and the adult may see this, this, and this, and may say that they see this, this, and this to the child, but the child is going to disagree because they only see their perspective. They feel that if people don't see their perspective, what they see, then that other person is wrong. Like, um, you can just hear the little kid going, "No, you're wrong, I'm right," type thing. Um, but when I think of concrete operational stage, I think of the time when I was in middle school and I filled up a graduated cylinder and or with water, and I had to pour it in a beaker and see if it was the same amount of liquid, which it was. And at that age, kids recognize that, so they become more aware of the concept of conservation. Um, and finally, for a formal operational stage, I think of any type of problem that leads to a solution. And when the kids are at this age, in this stage of life, they realize that there is more than one way to go about solving the problem that they're uh, trying to solve. So when Um, you could think of a math problem, honestly. Like, there's tons of different ways to do different math problems, and just because the person next to you doesn't do it the exact same way, you may get the same answers. It just shows how the kids work. They start thinking more logically, scientifically, more abstract. They're just more aware of, oh, there's more than one way. Um, but I completely agree with Piaget, and I believe that he is a very smart, brilliant man. And he passed away on September 16th, 1980, and his work is still acknowledged in the classroom as it should be, because we need to know these things about kids as future teachers and teachers of the world who are already out there, or anyone really working with kids, because it's important to know why they do what they do. It's important to know what stage this child is in for certain situations.